in the high street now, we're going to have a look at late 19th century shopfront. So this shopfront is attached to an older building. So the building itself is probably mid or early 19th century. And just in passing, I'll have a look at this. The building's sandstone, but it's been patched with cement, and then it's been painted, and it's probably got lime wash underneath it, and it's been painted again and painted again, and you end up with a crust on the surface. And this is an issue with a lot of buildings in Trent. The sandstone's been treated, it's maybe been cement patched, the paint systems just aren't compatible with each other. So the stone itself is slightly damp behind, the paint has started to flake, and once it gets to this stage, there's not really a lot you can do other than a quick fix that might last for a year or so than to remove that paint. The best thing to do would be to remove it and repair the wall, but you're getting involved in quite substantial costs if you have to do that. So anyway, that was a digression. Looking at the shopfront itself, it's a timber shopfront, and it has one of the biggest issues with all timber shopfronts. They tend to have this projection at the top. The cornice comes out because it gives it somewhere nice and convenient to put the canopy, and it also allows the signage to be placed at an angle so it's more visible from people walking past in the road. But the top of that canopy box and the cornice is really vulnerable. So from the building above, perhaps the gutters are blocked, there's water pouring down. Similarly, you might have just a crack in the network. If anything fails in that top section of lead on top of the boxing and the cornice, water will get in. Because it's a void behind the top, it'll start to decay and the timber will rot. So where you can see in the corner here, the paintwork's starting to flake off, it's a good sign that there's water getting in above, and that there's probably going to be a fair amount of timber in here that's decayed. If it's really bad, it'll get into the canopy box, it'll rot the canopy, and it may well rust the spring and the mechanism as well. So really, nothing else has to be done on the shopfront. Make sure there's no water coming in from above. Because this is timber, this is a lovely example of a common sonnet detail. It seems to be prolific all over the town. We've got these lovely pilasters with this circular motif in the middle. There's quite a number of shopfronts that have got this. However, taking timber down to ground level is never a fantastic idea, but it was done a lot in shopfronts. As soon as the timber hits the ground, of course the pavement levels come up here as well. That's the other issue in towns. As new tarmac gets laid on the roads, new pavements get laid on top of themselves, things come up. The base of that timber will decay. It's not really meant to be embedded in the ground. The stall riser in this case, and the stall riser is a bit below the window, has got relatively modern tile on it. Often these are stone, sometimes they're timber as well. Another nice element in this shop front is it still has its ventilation slots along the top. So above the glazing, of course the glazing can't open, it's common to find little gears of ventilators, sometimes with an insect mesh behind, just to stop beasties getting into them. It's quite important that that's all kept clear as well to ventilate the shop behind. Then the lobby of this shop is relatively modern material, so it's got a quarry tile flooring and modern tile on the side and a modern gate as well as needing repaired. But again, I suspect that post there has probably been replaced at some point as well, something heavier than it may originally have been. Quite often you find that they're round as well, nice circular post. Again, the gate is in here, which means it fixes the edge on the side. And then again on this side, attempts have been made to patch the base of the pilasters, but they've failed. There's not an awful lot you can do about this other than using a durable timber, a really good material that's going to last as long as it possibly can, but it's almost up against it with all the salt spray and water getting in there. Almost anything is going to decay.